Hello, thank you for meeting me on the mat today. On this practice of Yoga with Paige, I am taking you on another one of my intuitive, unplanned flows. So, this is a home practice of my own, giving you the opportunity to peek at me for inspiration, follow this flow exactly, or explore movements of your own. So we begin today in child pose, reaching the fingertips out, staying a little bit active here, really getting a nice stretch down the spine. Taking our first few rounds of breath in this centering and grounding posture. On your next inhale, lift the chest, round through the back to come into a little upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, send the hips back, child. Moving with the breath, rounding through the back and lifting the chest forward on the inhale. Waking up the spine, finding a nice movement in the back body. Controlling your transitions to make this movement more graceful and fluid. Finding another round or two. Just noticing how your body feels as it opens up. And when you're ready, we press back, lifting up onto the knees. Beautiful, big breath in, staying here or maybe finding a slight back bend. Really activate through the quads to send the pelvis forward. Finding a nice extension of the hip flexors, the psoas muscle. Reversing any prolonged sitting. Gently releasing back to the heels and finding a small twist to the right side. Coming back through center to twist to the left. I encourage you to find any play that feels good in this practice. Send the fingertips forward, tuck the toes, and rock back up onto the heels to find a nice dangling pose at the back of the mat. Belly meets thighs as we let the blood rush down to the head. Find one more big breath in, and then straighten the legs. Bending and straightening. Straightening on the inhale, and exhale to bend, grabbing on to wherever feels good. And making our way into a revolved forward fold, bending the right knee, reaching the left arm high. We can also bend the elbow and reach behind the back, finding a bigger shoulder opening. Take your last breath, release back to center, and peel the right arm up. Coming back to your breath awareness. On your next exhale, gently release, coming back down to center, folding over the legs, and walking the fingertips out, coming through a nice high plank pose, and then stepping the left foot up, big runner's lunge. Lift the chest forward, maybe float the fingertips, and then finding a big full body twist, the left arm peels up, right fingertips are on the mat. reaching that heel back and then dropping the knee to send the left arm behind you. Take your gaze to the fingertips, expanding in the chest, then framing the left foot and reaching the right arm overhead, finding a nice big side body stretch. Sinking down low into the hips. Then frame the left foot, raise the right knee, and come into a nice side lunge, flexing the right foot up, lifting the heart center. Find what feels good to you here. Maybe hands at heart, fingertips down on the mat. We can find a bind or a side stretch. Use this to connect to yourself. Big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Shifting your weight to the other side, coming into a runner's lunge with the right knee bent. Really active in the legs, and find your twist. Still sending the left heel back. And making your way into your low lunge, reaching the right arm behind you. Exhale to frame the right foot and reach the left arm overhead, peel it up high. Still keeping the hips nice and square. Come back through center to lift up the back knee and turn to the long edge of the mat. Left foot is flexed up, toes point to the sky, and find your variation of Skandasana. Perhaps closing the eyes, tuning out any distractions that may be going on around you. And on this side, we come next up into a nice, strong goddess pose. So straighten the legs, then turn the toes out to the corners before bending the knees and lifting up nice and tall. Big, long spine as you sink the hips down, squeeze the glutes. Grounding down through the feet, finding your breath. Maybe lifting up one heel, and then the other. Really squeezing, finding strength in the calves. Pressing down through the ball of the foot. Find that earth connection. Beautiful. Wherever you're at, finding about another breath, maybe two. And slowly extend the legs, make your way up to the top of the mat, mountain pose. Reach the arms up high and cactus them, drawing the elbows together behind the back. Send the chest forward and up. Big breaths into the heart chakra. Interlace the fingers behind the back and exhale, slowly melt down. Belly comes on top of the thighs, hands come over the head, fingers still entwined. Breathe deeply here. Then use the hands to help you lift the chest and release. Grounding down through the left foot, raise the right knee in and interlace the fingers around the knee, flexing the foot, taking a moment to find your spot of focus in front of you. Trying to make these next few movements as controlled and stable as you can while looking straight ahead. Big breath in, and on your exhale, make your way into your version of tree pose. Placing the foot on the ground, on the ankle, on the calf, or on the inner thigh. Lifting up through the crown of the head, feeling sturdy and capable in your body, in your mind. Gently take the right knee forward and extend the leg. Hold it up as high as you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it down nice and slow. Replacing the legs. Left knee comes in and we give it a nice little hug. Still creating space in the body, trying to lift up and lengthen. Quieting the mind as you return back to the breath. This is your time. And on your next out breath, gently make your way into tree. Taking whatever hand variation suits your practice today. Working through any negative thoughts that might arise if we stumble or fall or wiggle. That is growth happening. That is strength being built. And on your next breath, the left knee comes forward. Release the foot and extend the leg, squeezing the muscles. 4, 3, 2, 1. And gently release it down, planting both of the feet, bending the knees, dropping down into a nice squat. Take a moment to arrive here, wiggle out through the hips. Our heels do not have to be on the ground. They can be lifted. I invite you to close the eyes here for these next few breaths. Allow yourself this time to connect, maybe to reflect, to open up to yourself. Big, full breaths. And when you're ready, gently drop the left knee down, coming into a seated goddess pose. If you don't know what that looks like, it is here. One knee up, your right, like we're in a squat, and the left leg down. So you can gently take the right knee back and forth, kind of coming onto the outer edge and the inner edge of the foot, working through some hip mobility, and then gently switching sides, working our way down closer to the mat, coming back to child pose next, making this a nice full circle little practice. So making your way there, when you feel nice and warmed up, sending the hips back, taking this breath to notice how different you feel, and then take the left arm and scoop it underneath the right, finding a little thread the needle. Taking your awareness to the muscles, to your physical feeling body. Notice what's there. And then gently come back through center to cross the right arm underneath the left. Maybe gazing under the shoulder, releasing any tension you may still be holding in the hips, in the back, in the neck. And on your next out breath, return back to a nice extended child pose. Send the hands together and reach them overhead, walking the elbows forward. One more spot of connection as we prepare to end this practice today. Find big, full breaths and allow your hands to gently release down to the mat. Maybe setting an intention for the rest of your day, or simply sending yourself love for arriving here on the mat. I thank you so much for joining me in this practice today, and thank you for tuning in to Yoga with Paige. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this quick little yoga flow, and hit subscribe if you're not already to never miss more. Until I see you next time on the mat, take care, my friend.